In this video, I'm going to show you how you can build a Flowise workflow that generates a LinkedIn post from a news article and publishes it automatically to LinkedIn. This video is part 1, where we'll publish content to our personal profile, and in part 2, we'll publish content to our business page. Alright, so let's get started. Now the first thing to do is we need to set up our LinkedIn credentials. And in order to do that, we need to create an app on LinkedIn. Now for this tutorial, I've prepared a guide, a text guide, where I put all the links and all the text prompts and things like that we need for, setting up our workflow. So if you want to copy paste links and templates rather than typing them out, you can go to school.com/bottribe, link down in the description, go to classroom, and then here under resources vault, I have Flowise LinkedIn personal integration. And here's the guide that I'm going to follow in this video. So first things first, let's go to developer.linkedin.com, and here is where we can create our application. Okay, so go ahead and create an app if you don't already have one. If you do, you can use that one. So let's say app name Flowise YouTube tutorial. For the LinkedIn page, you have to select a page that you already own. So if you don't already have one, go ahead and create a new LinkedIn page. I have my Bottribe page here, so I'm going to select that, and you need to upload a logo. All right, once you do that, click I agree and create the app. Now, you will be taken to the app page with the products list. Okay, so here we need to select a couple of products. We need to access share on LinkedIn, so request access. And we also need sign in with LinkedIn using OpenID Connect. So request access for that too. Okay, so once we have those two activated, let's go to the auth tab. And here what we're interested in is the scopes for OAuth 2.0. Okay, so we need to add a couple of scopes here. Let's go into the link here, OAuth 2.0 tools, click on that, and that allows us to create a new access token. Click create token, select all the scopes that are available here, click I understand this tool, and request access token. LinkedIn might request you to sign in, so go ahead and put your email and password here and click sign in. Alright, so you will be taken to the permission screen, and you just need to click allow here, and the access token will be generated. So make a note of this, copy it, or just leave this tab open so that you can access it whenever you need to. All right, next thing is we need an user ID. So we need to request the user ID, and we get that from this endpoint. I have here my curl command. You can use that in a terminal window or command prompt if you're on a PC, but I prefer to use Postman. And here I have user info. So this is the URL that we need to call. We have the get method. We need our authorization. So auth type should be bearer token. So let's replace that with the token that was received. And that's basically all there is to it. We have nothing else required. So let's send the request. And here we get the response back. What we're interested in is this sub section and this value here. Okay, so we're going to need that in a bit to fill out our ID. Okay, once we do that, we can move on to Flowise. Now, here, importantly, either you have Flowise locally installed and you can start using it straight away, or you can install it now using these commands. So first of all, we need Node installed on our machine. So go to nodejs.org/n and install Node locally on your machine. Once you do that, open up a terminal window or command prompt if you're on a PC. And here type npm install -g Flowise. Okay, so that will install Flowise on your local machine. And once you have that installed, you can just type npx Flowise start, and that will start up the local Flowise instance. And you can go to a browser to localhost 3000, and you will be taken to this sign-in screen. So go ahead and create an account, and you can start using Flowise. Now, personally, I have my Flowise set up at my domain name, so I'm going to use that one. And then once you're in Flowise, we can go to credentials, and here we can create a new credential. We're going to search for HTTP, and we're going to select HTTP bearer token. We're going to give it a name, so something like LinkedIn YouTube bearer token, and let's go grab the token again and paste it here. Okay, so click add. All right, so once we have that, let's go to agent flows and click on add new. So we're gonna create our agent flow. Okay, so let's check out the guide. We have set up our credentials. We have start node. So we need to create a flow variable called generated post. This of course will contain our post that will be sent to LinkedIn. So I have flow state generated post, that's fine. Next up, we can add an agent node with this system prompt. So let me copy that and let's go add an agent node. So agent, and I'm gonna call this blog writer. So the way this is gonna work is this agent will search the internet for some news, will create a blog from that news article, and from that blog, we will create our LinkedIn post. Okay, so this is the blog writer, the agent that will search the internet and write the blog for us. Okay, so that's our blog writer. Now here, I'm gonna choose OpenAI. If you prefer to use Grok or a Ollama, you can use that. Those are free. ChatGPT actually costs some money, but in reality, it's not a lot. So realistically, this will be like a few cents to actually write the article. If you prefer to reduce your cost even further, you can choose GPT-4o Mini. That's very, very efficient. For me, I'm going to use 4o latest because I want a model that's a bit more smart to generate my article. I have credential here. Of course, if you don't have credential for OpenAI and you want to use it, go to platform.openai.com/API keys. If you don't have an account, of course, create an account. If you do, then go to this link and create a new secret key and you can use it in Flowise. All right, so credentials, model name, that's fine. Temperature 0.9, I want a bit more creativity for this writer. And for messages, I'm going to add a system message and I'm gonna paste the content. So if we expand this a little bit, it just says, check the current date, take the user's topic and research top news articles available online, and then pick the most popular and then create a blog from that news article. All right, so in order to search the internet, we need to give this agent access to some tools. So let's add tool here. The first one I want to give it access to is the current date time, so it can actually check the current date. And then I want to give it access also to SERP API. SERP API is a free API, or at least it has a free tier of about, I think 1,000 requests or 100 requests, something like that. So you can go to serpapi.com, create an account, grab the key, and add that as a credential. Of course, I already have it, so I'm going to select it in the list below. If you don't have it, create new and create your key on the SERP API page. It's a free account, so you can get started for free. Okay, so we have our tools, and that's pretty much all we need for this agent. So let me just save this, and I'm gonna call this LinkedIn YouTube tutorial and click save. Okay, so next up we've done the agent node, we can add an LLM node, and we have a system prompt. The reason why we add an LLM node is because we don't necessarily need tools here. We can just do everything with a simple LLM. So let's add an LLM connected to our blog writer. I'm going to call this post writer, and let's select the model. I'm going to choose OpenAI again, and my credential and GPT-4o. Again, maybe a bit of temperature so that it generates a kind of more interesting post. Okay, so for the input message, we have get the article generated by previous node and create one post for LinkedIn, max 300 words, and reply with the post content and nothing else. The reason for this last line is because we want to put the output from this node into our flow state. So here down below, update flow state, we have generated post, and here we have the variable for the output of this node. And the way we get that is we have double curly bracket, open curly bracket, and we select output from here from the drop down, and then that's it. Let me just save this workflow. All right, moving on. Now we need to create a tool. The reason for the tool is that the output generated by our LLM is just raw text, and sometimes it contains characters that are incompatible with HTTP transfers. Okay, so we need to encode those characters in a more nicer format. So for example, we need to escape certain characters, and we do that with a tool. So let's go to tools, and here you can click create tool. I already have that tool created, so let me just show you what that involves. So I have detailed all the information here, input schema, code, and so on. So you can just copy paste the code from here, but I already have it, of course, here. Now, escape HTML characters tool name. The tool description says escapes all relevant HTML characters so that you can embed the output string into an HTML request. Here we have the input schema. We have a single property to format, which is the string that is passed to this function to be formatted. And down below we have our JavaScript function, and we get the to format string to generate the output. So that's basically it, a very simple function. Let's go back to our agent flows and back to our LinkedIn YouTube tutorial, and we're gonna add a tool node. So let me just drop the tool here, rename it to format HTML chars. Okay, and let's select the tool. This is going to be custom tool, tool parameters, select tool, down below, escape HTML characters, and tool input parameters is going to be to format. The input value is going to be the generated post. Okay, and importantly, we need to update the generated post at the end, right? So update flow state, we have generated post, and here, as you might expect, we have output. Okay, so that is done, and we have our last node here. We have an HTTP request where we're actually going to use the credentials that we generated before. So this is going to be send LinkedIn post. We're going to use the credentials that we generate, so LinkedIn YouTube bearer token. Now let's have a look at how we need to personalize this. So of course the method is going to be post, but we need to copy the URL. So here we have post, we can copy the URL. We have this header that we need to pass. The value is going to be 2.0.0. So let's add a header value 2.0.0. And then finally, body type JSON and body. Okay, body type JSON and body here. Now we need to personalize this with our ID, your personal ID. And the way we do that is, if we scroll up a bit, we have defined our ID here. So ID is going to be something like this. You are an LI person, and then your value that you got from the first request. So let me just copy and paste that. Sub value, we need to remove that. And going back to Postman, I'm going to copy my value from here and paste it here, right? So it's the first request that we made to user info that gives us this sub value. It's not very intuitive. LinkedIn is a bit annoying with that, but we have to construct this manually. It's the way it is. All right, so we have that save. Now, before we actually run this, I want to give you a bit of warning. Flowise, as it works now, has a bit of a bug where if you have a tool node and then you modify, so you update another node after it, sometimes it loses the information. Okay, so here, for example, under parameters, you can see that my select tool has already disappeared. So we need to select that as a last thing that we select before we actually run the code. It's the way it is. It's a bug at the moment. Hopefully that will get fixed shortly. So that's basically all there is to it. Let's go ahead and run our code and see how it works. So let's go and give it a topic. So let's say AI, and that starts to work. Let's see if it publishes our post. All right, so that seems to have worked. Let's go ahead and check our LinkedIn page. All right, I'm here in my LinkedIn, and let me just go to my profile, scroll down below, and we can see that I have just published or automatically published an article. Okay, so that's a bit long. You can reduce that if you like. You can update the prompts for your LLMs and so on. but it shows that you can produce this kind of content automatically just by running your flow, and it will be posted automatically to your LinkedIn page. All right, so that's it for this video. Thank you for watching. Check out the community over at school.com/bottribe, and I will see you again in the next video.